I consider ADHD a superpower.
Welcome to another episode of Chewing the Fat. I am your host, Big Rob. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for the folks who have bought me a coffee at chewingthefatbr.com, the folks who have left ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts and over at Pandora and Spotify. Thank you for helping to make this podcast in the top 5% of podcasts globally. It's all because of you. It's all because of you, the folks who appreciate what the heart of this podcast is about, is that we are not alone and that we can be in these crummy days that we may all have together, and that gives us strength. And another person that gives me strength, I'm so happy to have him on the podcast. We've been talking about it for a while. Joining me from Philly, the city of brotherly love, please welcome the one and only Seth Goldstein.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, Seth.
The one, the only. There's no one quite like me.
That's right.
That's an understatement. The one, the only. How's it going, Big Rob?
I'm doing good, Seth. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great, especially now that, the light is out, because I am with Big Rob right now. I'm stoked, my friend. I am stoked.
Seth and I met kind of during the great shutdown of 2020.
It was 2020? It was one of those 3 years.
2021,
yeah.
The blip, as I like to refer to it, when everybody was shut down. And thanks to our friend Travis Brown, he had this.
I love Travis.
Had this great little mastermind workshop for a lot of folks who were looking to put podcasts together and learn more about this stuff and how to market and all that. And so that's where Seth and I met. Thanks to Travis, and Seth's been podcasting for a while.
A little bit longer than I like to admit, but
but we'll get into that. But Seth, you are you're calling via Zoom from Philly, right?
Oh, it's just north, but I'm one of those people that calls myself Philadelphia, and I'm really from Bucks County, which is just north. Okay. I'm 20 miles from Philadelphia from Center City.
Okay.
But guess how far I am to drive?
Gotcha.
An hour and 10 minutes. Because there's no straight line. There is, but it's stop and go. It's actually longer to go in a straight line than it is to go in zigzag.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Now, are you a lifetime Philadelphian?
Born and raised. Can't you tell by this accent? I mean, my accent's thicker than your accent. I say water and figure and all that stuff.
Water?
Wait, what did you say? Water ice.
That's awesome.
It's not Italian ice. It's water ice.
Water ice.
It sounds weird with a southern accent, though.
Water ice.
Water ice. There you go.
And Seth, so for the folks who don't know, you have a podcast called Entrepreneur's Enigma. It's not just a podcast. You have a whole thing. I don't want to say it's like it's a newsletter. Crazy, yeah. I mean, it's a whole thing. So, so give us some background on Entrepreneur's Enigma and Seth.
Well, I'm a former journalist,
mm-hmm.
And then I burned out from that massively. Then we can go into the next segment. We can go into the PTSD that gave me.
Yeah,
that was nice and fun.
Mm-hmm.
But then I left that when the sales for a little bit rose. I don't like selling big boxes of construction sites.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Decided that I had been doing web design on the side since '98, before the millennium. Ooh, I'm old. And I decided that my wife decided that I should go into web design to start a business to get a job.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 5 years in, I hadn't gotten the job yet. It was going well. Mm-hmm. Son was born, had some complications at birth. Fine now, sharp as an ox. He's an oxen. I mean, he's strong little man at 10, but that killed the business. So I went and worked for Merck for about a year and a half. Decided I cannot stand corporate America.
Gotcha.
It's for some people that like it, but it was like, whose butt do you have to kiss at what day, and who do you not talk to until 5 o'clock? Mm-hmm. You go home and then you say good morning to them because that's when they're actually up.
Right.
Like, it's like, I mean, I'm only half joking when I talk about, like, my boss would tell me don't talk to Joe or Steve or Donna before this time because they're cranky. They haven't had their coffee yet. I'm like, weird. So I left and I went back into Goldstein Media again, web design, SEO, pay-per-click. Yeah, that's the right word. Digital marketing. And then this whole time I had been dabbling in podcasting since 2010, mostly digital marketing, podcasts and whatnot. And then during the pandemic, I was like, I've been at that point, I had been at the start of the pandemic, I had been a entrepreneur for pretty much 13 years. And I had decided I want to do some pontificating on being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Well, that turned into an interview podcast very quickly. Episode 11, which you will not see you won't see a lot of pontificating episodes. Those are all 1 through 10. It's that I can count. And then they started interviewing people again, like I've been doing on past podcasts, and that's what Entrepreneurs Enigma is. I think we're on episode 147 now. It's been going on for like a year and a half. It comes out twice a week because I'm insane.
But I mean, that's what you do. I mean, that, you know, when you're an entrepreneur, and that's, you know, this is your lane. So it's part of what you do. It's part of giving that knowledge and giving that insight to up and coming entrepreneurs. Find out what's working with people, what's not working, what's you know, the knowledge that they can glean from people who've tried it, and keeps them from having to, you know, walk down that same path of failure and stuff.
They still
like
walk
that.
down the same path. Well, you don't learn from each other's mistakes. You have to make them again, but maybe less dramatically.
Yeah.
I always feel like you kind of like, well, oh, Seth went through this, or I heard Seth going through this, or you know, Rob on the podcast said he went through that, and he realized that, like, oh, okay. Oh, I just did that, but I didn't do it quite as bad.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And that's the whole idea. So I enjoy it. It's been a nice journey. It also gives me an excuse for business development, because I can meet entrepreneurs that I want to do work with. So that's kind of the ROI on it, is that I get to meet people that I want to talk to, have a reason to reach out to people. And it has turned into some business, so I can't complain.
Yeah, no, that's great. And like I said, you found something where you can use those strengths. You use your ability, you know, as a journalist, to interview, to pull out the juicy bits, as they say, you know, of the story, to you know, to really get to the meat of what matters to people as they're entrepreneurs. And I think it's so valuable. And again, you know, for your own good, to turn that into something where you can then collaborate with, whether it be through web design or SEO or what of the other, you know,
the plethora of other things.
The cornucopia of Goldstein.
Good word, yeah.
You know,
cornucopia of Goldstein. I like that. We get that. The cornucopia of Goldstein.com. I like that.
Dang it!
You should get to that real fast.
Dang it!
Exactly, but you know, it's just fun, you know. And I also have a newsletter, a weekly newsletter, as if I'm not busy enough, called Marketing Junto. And Junto was a gathering, junto really, but I call it Junto because junto doesn't sound that good. It sounds like the junta in, like, you know, Southeast Asia, that's like dictators. I'm like, I don't like that. I'm gonna go Junto with a hard J. But it was Ben Franklin, so there's a little tie back to Philadelphia there. Nice. Ben Franklin had the junto, where it was a gathering of intellectuals about certain something. So it's called Marketing Junto, and every week I'd have, it's kind of set up like it's like a late night talk show.
Okay.
I have my monologue, and this was not planned. None of this is planned. Like, it's not my ADHD brain. It doesn't plan stuff. It just does. So, you know, it starts off a monologue for about 300, 400 words. And then it goes into the latest guests, like the musical guests, which is the podcast. The last 2 podcasts for the last week, and like that Tuesday and the previous Thursday. And then it goes into some links, which is kind of like Jimmy Fallon's, like, or Jay Leno's, like, holding up the newsletter, the newspaper,
right,
kind of thing. Yeah. And then there's the finds of the week, which is like kind of Jack Hanna coming on today's show. Yeah. And then it's me signing off.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's great.
So it turned into a formula without me even trying.
Yeah. And easily digestible. I mean, obviously, like you said, I mean, it's a formula that works for late night talk shows. There's no reason why it doesn't. And there's a reason that they're all like that, because it works. And
it was not planned. I don't like, I like things with segments.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how my podcast is too. I don't plan my podcast. Everyone asks, like, what are the questions? I'm like, well, I'm not going to tell you the questions beforehand. But if you want to do your research, they're the same 3 darn questions every single episode.
So
The episodes
listen.
go from 15 minutes to 30, depending on how chatty you get between them. But really, it's just like, who are you?
Yeah.
And then have 3 questions. And if you listen to Entrepreneur's Enigma, you'll know them. So
yeah, absolutely.
And one of them is actually Travis's.
Yeah.
I'll give that. What is the most important thing to carry with you all the time?
Oh.
His pod deck little card sits on my desk. So I remember the exact wording every single time.
That's great. That Travis.
So thank you, Travis.
That Travis, I swear. He's such a good guy.
He's such a good guy.
Yeah. So for you, when you were growing up in Philly, what did you, was journalism and entrepreneurship, was that something that was always just in you?
Weird. It's weird because journalism, I started my school paper in high school. Everyone knew I was going to be a journalist.
Okay.
I didn't. I wanted to go into advertising, web design, because I was into that. Went to the University of Delaware, go Blue Hens, and realized I didn't want to do accounting. I didn't want to do business school, which I wish I kind of did some business classes. Didn't. Take business classes. You don't have to major in anything. Just take a few business classes. It helps.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. But then I got into journalism because I thought, hey, I'm going to do history. And I'm going to do journalism because both can show that I can write and think and all that stuff. 2 different writing styles. Never got an A+ on any of my A papers because I could not write a coherent paragraph. Because in journalism, you break it up for the eyes, not for the actual structure of the paragraph.
Right.
So my history professors were always annoyed at my papers because they were all written in the journalistic style about the Civil War or about the World War II. And they're like, why can't you write coherent paragraphs? And I'm like, this just doesn't look right to me. Turns out that converts very well to web writing because it's meant for the eye. You break things up every 2 sentences, you give it an enter.
Yep.
Or a return if you're on Mac.
Yeah. So. It was called a carriage return on a typewriter. Remember those things?
Oh, dating yourself there, buddy.
I know, right?
But before that, I'd always liked building businesses. They're still on the web. I'm sure somewhere on some free server somewhere. Is a bike. There's a big canal that goes from Yardley, from Marsville and Trenton and Bristol all the way up to Easton along the Delaware River. And I wanted to do bike tours. So I was very big into bicycling as a kid. And so I built a website, and my mom and I were going to make it into a small little business. Never happened. But it was like, I guess I always had the bug.
Yeah.
To kind of do my own thing, get creative. And I blame that on my ADHD because it's always like shiny object. So
what's the next shiny object? Yeah.
Well, the next shiny object right now is the Fediverse. Mastodon, Pixie, which Pixel Fed, which is all Instagram, Feder. That is the Web3. It's not cryptocurrency. It's not the blockchain. It's the decentralizing of these big, monoliths like Facebook and Instagram and Reddit, which is going crashing and burning right now. So there's something called Lemmy, Lemmy, which is a Reddit competitor that's like booming now. Everyone's leaving Reddit to go there. Everyone left Twitter to go to Mastodon and Palmora, and there's something called Calkey. Don't like the name. Don't choose these names.
Yeah.
But I actually helped admin one of the bigger instances on the Fediverse. Masto.ai is open to everybody, and it's like whack-a-mole.
Wow.
I feel bad for these guys, these hourly workers at Facebook. That's what they see, because I haven't seen that gnarly stuff. There's been some stuff I'm like, I didn't need to see that.
Yeah.
You're suspended. Get out of here. Get out of here. So
yeah, that's crazy. And I mean, in that the speed, I don't know, I guess as a Gen Xer, the speed at which like the whole AI and all this stuff seems to be, speeding up so fast every day.
Past Murphy's Law.
It's so
Moore's Law.
Yeah. It's so,
sometimes it feels like Murphy's Law.
Yeah. It's so scary. Just I guess because every movie that I saw growing up was about how our computers were going to take over.
But to be honest, Rob, the thing is, all that AI is right now, the large language models is, as Rand Fishkin says, spicy autocomplete. They don't take the word as the word of the gospel.
Yeah.
They're making shit up based on what they think you want to hear. It's good for like basic knowledge, but current events, I wouldn't trust it yet. It's just not there yet. It's kind of scary. It makes up sources.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, but that's true. And the thing is I think the dangerous part of it is people that do take it as gospel and people that are using it as gospel instead of doing the work or doing the research or, it's like,
it's a tool.
Yeah.
And it can, like, all tools can, like, a rock was a tool. It could also be a weapon.
Yeah, you're right.
You can still bang someone over the head with it and hurt them.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a very valid point. So in your growing up, in your bike business that you wanted to start, any other businesses that stand out as an entrepreneur that you had the idea for that maybe you haven't?
I've had tons of ideas.
That you haven't?
I've had tons of ideas to do websites. That's a big one that happened after the whole journalism escapade of 6 years after college.
Yeah.
But like my dad has always started biotech companies. Like he's a microbiologist. So he starts companies and tries to find a cure to cancer.
Oh, wow.
He's 75 and he'll never retire. We always joke that he'll just drop dead one day in the lab.
Wow.
I'm like, well, hopefully the cleaning crew will find you that day so you don't smell. He's like, that's nice, Seth. Thanks. Love you, Dad. And my mom was a school psychologist.
Oh, wow.
So a Jewish mother who's a psychologist, God help me. Love her to death. But doting mother who also has a PhD behind her in psychology on how the brain works. And it has an ADHD child. It was a fun childhood. We had a blast.
Yeah.
But I could never win an argument with that woman. To this day, I can't win an argument.
Yeah.
She's too smart for me.
Have you ever like when you have these ideas for all your stuff, do you keep like a journal? Do you write these ideas down, or they come and they go that fast? Well, okay.
I just start the idea.
Okay.
And then halfway down the road, I'm like, that was kind of silly.
Okay.
I shouldn't have wasted a week on this, but
Okay.
It's a good idea. I should start journaling these ideas.
Well, I just say no. I mean, because I have those ideas and I'll write them down or I'll put them in a note in my phone or something like that. Like, I'm gonna come back to that later. I'll come back to that later. I just didn't know how you organized it, and you organized it, but you're like, it's 2 a.m. You know what? I'm gonna start this.
It's more than
start
tools
this thing
out there right now. It's like with Mastodon, it could be self-hosted. And I've set up my own instance of Mastodon, and done that. I keep going back to the bigger instance because I feel like they can help me. I can make a bigger impact, and I don't have to pay for it. So there's benefit there.
Yeah. Well, I know for me, I think that's probably what stops me from doing a lot of the ideas is like, I don't have the money to try and do whatever that is. So I'm just going to like leave it in the book. But yeah, if you've got no, I mean, it's like some of the stuff. It's
practicality.
And
sometimes there's ideas that might sound good or not that good.
Exactly. You got to run them by somebody that you can trust.
Run them by the wife, run them by the husband, and say, hon, what do you think about this?
What do you think of this? We're gonna cash out our savings and start this thing. What do you think?
Yeah, my wife humors me a little too much.
Oh,
and then she's wonderful. I have the best wife. She's fantastic.
That's great. What does she think about Entrepreneur's Enigma and your twice a week podcast and the newsletter nuts, and everything?
She's like, as long as it brings business into Goldstein Media, she's fine with it.
Yeah.
Podcasting, she gets what I'm doing with it. Newsletter, she's like, you're writing, it's good for you, whatever.
Right. I mean, it's like touch points of everything, every little area that you've had along your path, along your life. Yeah. You've got you can get the journalistic itch scratch with the newsletter. You can get the talking, the communication with the podcast. I mean, and then you've got the entrepreneur part with how can I turn these people into customers or friends that can.
It looks like I have a plan, Rob. It looks like I have a plan,
but there's no plan.
There's no plan. I mean, and there might actually be a plan that I subconsciously have put together that my conscious has no idea about, and it's quite possible because like I get panic attacks every once in a while, and that's a subconscious saying freak out. And I'm one of the few people my psychiatrist says that I can actually talk to. Hold on, give me 15 minutes. I have to get home. Then we can continue this. And I've actually told my panic attack to hold on a second.
Wow.
Picked my kid up from school, drove him home, told him to go upstairs, give him time on the computer, and then proceeded to freak the hell out.
Wow.
But everyone's like, how do you do that? I'm like, I just said not now. So can you say not now perpetually? I'm like, nah, I don't think that's healthy. I think I need to have it. But, and this is more the second section, but you know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. But I also can understand that. But, you know, I wouldn't necessarily, I have a bit of ADD. And so it's like, there are times where it's like, ooh, squirrel, but also there are times it's like, okay, I need to finish this thing or go to this place or do whatever before I can, you know, concentrate on, before I can be a squirrel and concentrate on this other thing. So
they are awfully cute for a metaphor for ADHD, aren't they?
They really are.
They're really cute, like squirrel moments. But you know, that's based off a dog who has perpetual. Because you know, when you think about it, when they scream squirrel, it's always a dog going squirrel, and that's what and my dog is like that. I'm like, my dog has ADHD, and my wife's like, no, she's just a dog. And I'm like, she's like, that's what the metaphor is based off of. I'm like, you're right, good point.
Yeah. Thanks for that.
Yeah, thanks, honey.
So Seth, what's bringing you joy right now, man?
Well, I'm right now talking to you.
Well,
right now, this moment in time, talking to Big Rob.
Yeah.
But no, just life is good. We don't live on Mars anymore, which is good because at least last week, you know, at the time of this recording, it was like Mars here, and it was like a Mars dust storm in New York.
Yeah.
So it was weird.
Yeah.
But you know, what brings me joy right now is that I'm able to do what I want to do. I'm able to run my business. It's picking up, which is nice. You know, everyone's saying, "Is this a recession?" It's a recession. Every time someone says it's a recession, I get busier. So please keep saying recession because for some reason it helps me.
Yeah.
Like during the pandemic, I had some of my best years during the pandemic because everyone's like, we need to go online. We should have done this before. So that's when I had a great 2020. It was great for me. And as a matter of fact, I've never, knock wood, gotten COVID. I'm one of those rare people. I've never gotten it. My wife hasn't gotten it. My kid got it. Was in the house with it. Was quarantined for 5 days, and he was fine. He was on the computer, happy as a clam. That's great. He had the sniffles. He had Omicron. He missed a week of camp, which he was bummed about. But other than that, like even with a kid in the house with Omicron, which is the more viral of the loads, I didn't get it.
All right, Seth, this is the second segment of the show where we talk more about you, dive a little bit more into your mental health journey. We all have those same days, whether we admit it or not, or we've been diagnosed with depression or anything like that. Sometimes you just have depressing days. You just don't want to do anything. And for you, how do you keep the darkness at bay?
Drink caffeine. It sounds silly and insane that way, but like if I wake up and I'm like, blah. Yeah, I have a cup of a really high caffeinated tea, and to start my day. I mean, because I'm lucky enough that I don't have clinical depression. I got a lot of clinical other stuff going on in my brain. I don't need one more thing. I mean, you should see the pills I have to take. Yeah, just because the ADHD, I got the brain pills. I got diabetes. I got the diabetes pills. Can't do that. Can't do that. What's the guy? That's diabetes. Wilford Brimley. Yeah, him. Yeah. I can't do that, but so I have those pills. I've got the cholesterol. You know, I'm 42, but like you look at my pills, it looks like I'm like 62. Oh wow! But I feel like I'm 32. So God, you gotta help me. I'm good, but mental health wise, I mean, I got anxiety. I got the panic attacks that hit every once in a while. I've got the ADHD, which is interesting because I have always been kind of in tune. And I look at my kid who has it. He's 10. Is kind of in tune with like his brain and how it operates. So it's not good, but I consider ADHD a superpower. If you could, I consider it almost like Cyclops from the X-Men. With his glasses on, he can direct the laser. When he takes them off, it goes all over the damn place. And that's sort of how I feel without my Vyvanse. Is that like if I don't have that in me, I'm like squirrel all over the place, and then like the anxiety medicine, and I'll go through my whole list of drugs. I don't really care. The Lexapro, that thing is nasty. You miss a pill, you feel off. Wow. But if you're on it, you don't have anxiety, which is kind of nice. So
yeah, It's a odd trade-off. Yeah.
It is. So I've done it by my ADHD since I was a child.
Yeah.
Only recently, like within the last 2 years, realized that a lot of my ADHD was actually anxiety. A lot of the social offness was anxiety of like, oh, I'm going to lose my thought. Oh, I'm going to, like something's going to happen. I have to get to work faster. So I'm going to speed and get in a car accident, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That was all anxiety. And, that brought on with all the journalism stuff. Because, when you're a journalist, you see some gnarly stuff.
Yeah.
So dead body in a cornfield. I ran after a combine in a suit. Ruined the pair of shoes. Walked into my editor's office, dropped them on his desk, and dust went everywhere. His papers went everywhere. I said, "You're buying me a pair of Clarks, bud." He's like, "What?" I'm like, "You don't pay me enough to buy new pairs of shoes, and I just ruined them going after a story for you." So he bought me another pair of shoes. So I have fun stories for being a journalist, but I mean, I sat on the center of Route 15 out in Gettysburg as they extracted a dump truck from a ravine, and then promptly saw the guy's arm fall out of the cab.
Yikes!
Like bad stuff. So I still to this day can't watch Chicago Fire, but I can't watch Chicago PD because I never saw murder. Like I was in South Central Pennsylvania, or I was in Bucks County. Not much murder. Mostly people wrapping themselves around telephone poles, driving too fast. Which ironically, I would go to these accident scenes because you have to get the pictures before they took the person away in the helicopter, and I would go really fast, doing exactly what they did to get into a car accident. So irony there.
Yeah, just a touch.
A little Alanis Morissette for us. Which half that song is not ironic, that.
It's really not.
It really is. It's a good song, but I'm like, that's not ironic.
It's more like, doesn't that suck? It's not necessarily ironic.
No, it's just like, rains on your wedding day. I'm like, that sucks.
What's ironic about that?
That's actually good luck. It's not good luck, actually.
Some people say it's good luck. Some people say it's good luck for it to rain on your wedding day. It's funny. It's
wet.
There's a jewelry company here in town, and they run a promotion. If you buy your wedding set, wedding bands from them, and it rains on your wedding day, they pay for your wedding. They pay not for your wedding bands. They pay for the rings and stuff, not for the whole wedding. No, they pay for your wedding bands and stuff like that.
God! I was like, oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, no. So it's like it has to rain. Like
does it rain that much? I guess it does. It's not as much as Florida.
No, not as much as Florida. I mean, we have. It's been kind of a wet first few months down here.
It's not been wet up here.
But
we had no snow in Philly this year. We had. That's just weird to me. My poor dog has never experienced snow yet.
I think dogs.
She loves the rain for some strange reason, so she'd love the snow.
That's funny. Yeah. So when you're having those times, and if you're away from, you're obviously if you're away from caffeine, and you can't start your day that way, and you can't grab your bottle of pills or whatever. Do you have something else you use to try? I just kind of sit down.
Regulate? If I don't know about it. If I don't know that I don't have my Vyvanse in me,
okay.
The placebo kicks in for a little while,
okay,
which is very bizarre. But it kicks in, and I can do work that I enjoy. And if it's something that if I have to fold the laundry, that is not going to happen. Gotcha. It's hard enough with my medicine for that to happen. But like, I will notice, that I can usually start the day, get the day started. Have my cup of caffeine and get going. I mean, there are those depressing days. There's days when the client just left, and you're like, oh crap, I gotta go replace $3,000 a month or whatever heck it is. And that's you get that pit in your stomach, and you feel like, I mean, luckily for me, it never crosses my mind that let's end it all. I mean, I'm fortunate that that's not. I mean, crazy crap goes through my head all the time. That doesn't. Yeah. But I still feel like shit.
Yeah. And I think, like you just said, the fact that you have all of these ideas and things running through your head anyway, it's almost like there's not enough time for that other stuff to seep in and sink in. You know what I mean?
I'm always going.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I sleep like a baby, but literally, because my brain doesn't stop all day long. So literally, when it's time for bed, I'm like, I'm ready for bed. Yeah. My brain turns off. That's the weirdest dreams, though.
Yeah,
I think, and a lot of that's because of the medicine. Like it gives you weird dreams. I find that you don't remember though. You just remember that was a weird one, and you remember it for like 5 seconds, and then it goes out of your ear. I'm like, oh, I should have written that one down. Some people can remember their dreams, and it's awesome. Like the really weird ones, like Salvador Dali-esque dreams, and I know I have those. I just don't remember why or what or who, the kind of thing. So
yeah. I know. I usually will have weird dreams. I can remember them for quite a while. All depends on how traumatic I guess it is. Because I mean, sometimes it's like I always tell folks when you hear that, teamwork makes the dream work, that kind of stuff. I'm like, well, don't forget that nightmares are also dreams. So
right, yeah.
Some of
the nightmares I remember remembering them for a little while. They're just weird. I used to have these dreams that like the person would just repeat themselves over and over again, like one word over. They get stuck on a repeat.
What?
As a kid, and those would freak the fuck out of me.
Wow.
Oh, I would wake up screaming. My mom would come running in. She's like, "What's wrong, hon?" I'm like, "I had a repeating dream again." She's like, "Those are the weirdest dreams."
Yeah.
Because they're not scary. They're just like bizarre.
Yeah.
But someone tripped and got stuck in the needle on the record player. Yes, I'm old enough to remember record players. And they're now hip now. But it's like over and over again.
Wow. That is weird.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, that's the ones I remember. I remember those being very traumatic from childhood.
Haven't
had any of them recently.
Well, that's good.
It still bothers me when my kid's trying to be annoying and he starts repeating himself over and over again. I'm like, please don't do that.
I was about to say, did you tell him your weakness? Don't let him know your
it's
weakness.
It's like kryptonite. Don't tell me that.
Don't let him know your weakness.
Yeah, exactly.
Because then it'll be like, daddy.
Just he already does that.
So that one's okay. That one kind
of wore off after a while.
All right, Seth, this is the third segment of the show. This is time now for the Fast Five. Fast Five. It's time now for the Fast Fast Five.
I love how you still have not recorded that and do it live every time. I love that.
Every time. I keep thinking maybe I'll think of something better.
And I love it. It's so Rob. I love it. Oh, it's so jolly. I love it.
Well, the Fast Five is powered by Poddex, app created by our friend Travis Brown. He's also got the physical decks. And as a matter of fact, if you go to chewingthefatbr.com/poddex and use the promo code CHEW, you can get 10% off of your physical decks. But I am going to use the app, which you can find on your app store. Get that on your phone if you ever need any icebreakers and stuff. It's really, really cool.
I have a deck in there too.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Which one is your
entrepreneurial deck? The entrepreneur's deck is in there.
Boom.
Yeah.
I wish I'd known. I always just curate some. I should have asked you one of your own questions. Dang it! It's going to be too it's going to be too convoluted to try and get to your question now because I got this stuff.
He's on someone else next time.
There we go. All right. Well, here we go. This is question number 1. All right. Would you rather have to fail? I almost read this, so I'm a little dyslexic. So I almost read, would you rather have a fork in your face? That's not the question.
Or a fork in the face or what?
No. The question is, would you rather have to face a fork in the road or be forced to pick between 3 doors?
Oh, I like the other one better.
Fork in your face.
Fork in your face or
that's right.
Fork on the road, I think.
Yeah.
I just think it makes sense. So you pick one, go that way, and that kind of sucked. All right, well, next fork, I'll go the other direction. It's all an adventure. It's life. You can't say what if.
Yeah.
You say, well, what if I did that? And no, you didn't do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You get a chance to do it differently. If you don't, you don't.
Do a little learning and then try again next time.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Question number 2. Ooh, would you ever pick up a hitchhiker?
No.
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 Not in this day and age.
Not in this day and age. I don't care if they look innocent, sweet, innocent. That probably would be my end.
Yeah. You're just gonna pick
up. It's not the 60s.
Yeah, I got you. I don't. And there are times when I'm driving down the road and I'm like, oh, maybe I should. And then I'm like, no, I have somewhere to be. I am not.
You come with an excuse. You're like, I'm
not going that direction. I'm turning around right now and going the other way.
I haven't seen a hitchhiker in a while, actually.
We haven't.
With the thumb out, I haven't seen them very often. Maybe they're more in the South.
Yeah, I mean, several of them that I'll see, like, it could be the same guy. Maybe he's just working both sides of the road or something. I don't know. Maybe that's the whole reason he's just working both sides of the road. All right, question number 3. Would you rather accidentally laugh loudly at a funeral or fart while giving a speech at a wedding?
Oh, laugh loudly at a funeral. Oh, God. That's my worst nightmare, laying one loose at a wedding.
Really?
Well, during a speech at a wedding, no doubt.
Everyone's watching. Yeah.
Yeah, like laughing loudly. Maybe they said something funny. Maybe it was that Taylor Swift. Do you see that recent Taylor Swift one where she says that they laughed at that's not her thing. Laugh at a funeral. No, that's Bare Naked Ladies. I don't know why I got Taylor. Laugh at a funeral.
Yeah, they look very similar.
Oh,
Bare
very
Naked Ladies
similar.
and Taylor Swift. Yeah. Although, I mean, it's like you would think you could probably play off laughing at a funeral a lot easier because, maybe someone told a story about the departed or you remembered something fondly of them and it made you laugh. You had an inside joke with them or something like
insanity
that.
At one moment of grief.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
You can shrug that off pretty easily.
Right. Whereas if you just kind of like, and John, I think you're the best for her ever. Don't.
Yeah, and this was all on video too.
That's
most
right.
Of the time.
Don't come near here. Yeah. I guess they don't usually video funerals a whole lot.
Exactly. It's a little safer. Maybe fart at a funeral. Maybe they can get with that too. Giving a eulogy and farting. That's different.
It's like, it's not me, Tim. It's the gases escaping from the body. That's what they say, right? It's them. It's his fault. All right. Question number 4. Is there a Guinness World Record you think you could break?
How many scroll moments I could have in one moment?
If they actually kept track, if they could have a clicker.
If they could keep track of how many scroll moments I have at any given moment. Because even with the medicine in me, I'm like, it's always like, something comes across my screen. I'm like, I should scroll. Luckily, I'm able to pull back in, but then like 3 seconds later, there's another scroll moment. And every once in a while, those scroll moments are actually serendipity.
Yeah.
Serendipitous. And it takes me down a rabbit hole. More weird English.
More
varmints.
Rabbit hole. Yeah.
More varmints, more rodents.
Yeah.
And go down that rabbit hole, and it turns out to be something really good for the project that I'm working on. So.
Well, so the squirrels aren't always bad.
They're not always bad, and they're awfully cute. So are bunnies.
So it's only the squirrels that are friends with bunnies that are the good ones.
Absolutely.
It's awesome. All right, question number 5. Is there one thing that you'd be really disappointed if you never got to experience it?
That's a good one. Never got to experience it. I mean, I've been to Italy. I've traveled a lot. But I think I want to get to California at some point. The furthest west I've gotten is Wyoming. And I'd be kind of bummed if I never make it to California.
Okay.
I mean, I've been to Capri, for crying out loud, but I haven't been to California yet. So,
okay.
Well, I've been there plenty of time. So I'm like, next time we need to go. Like I just feel like that'd be kind of cool. Japan would be kind of fun. Something travel related. I want to go someplace weird. Australia sounds cool.
Yeah. Gosh. Talking about weird things and nightmare fuel. And Australia has like all of the nightmare fuel animals. And they're
so does Jersey, though. I can say that because I'm literally like 30 minutes from Jersey. Jersey has a Jersey Devil, for crying out loud.
What is that?
The New Jersey Devils is a hockey team, but they have this weird. Look it up after the show, but it's like, look it up on Wikipedia. It's this monster that lives in the Pine Barrens.
Really?
And eats chickens.
Oh, wow. Is it another rodent?
Jersey's weird. What's that?
Is it another rodent?
No, it's definitely not. They don't know what it is, but it's supposedly it sounds like a Tasmanian devil. Oh, there's a whole book on weird New Jersey.
Okay.
New Jersey's strange.
Okay. I'm gonna have to look up the
Jersey Devil. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. But we're gonna
get you his face.
We're gonna get you to California though. We're gonna get you to California,
yeah.
So that you're not disappointed about never getting to California. Well, Seth, that's it. That's question 5. That is our Fast 5, and that's the show. Thank you so much for being here, man.
Oh, this has been so much fun.
Yeah, this has been great.
The hour flew by. Everyone says, it's going to be an hour. My podcast lasts around 20 minutes, and I'm like, done.
Yeah.
But like, I've been on most podcasts around an hour, and I'm like, Oh, it's been long. This has been a blast.
Well, and
It's also Rob. So.
Well, I appreciate that. If folks want to keep up with you and what you've got going on with Entrepreneur Enigma and all the other cool stuff that you do have going on, what's the best way we can keep up with you?
Well, you can always find me on LinkedIn, Seth M. Goldstein. You can find me at Goldstein Media. You can find me at entrepreneursenigma.com. Mm-hmm. And honestly, if you find me at one of those, you can usually find me everywhere else as well.
Okay.
Just search for Seth M. Goldstein as in Michael. Seth Michael Goldstein. Seth M. Goldstein in Google. I'll come up. Mm-hmm. You search for Seth Goldstein. There's a lot of other Seth Goldsteins that are more popular than I am. Imagine that.
Huh. But not any more popular as Seth Michael Goldsteins.
Seth M. Goldstein.
Seth M. Goldsteins.
It's me and a lawyer. It's about it in Brooklyn.
Okay. Wow. And you're so close together. How odd.
I know. It's real weird.
Well, I'll make sure that I put those links in the show notes. Again, Seth, thank you so much for being here, buddy. I really do appreciate it. It's good connecting back with you, man. This is great.
Awesome, my friend. And congratulations on being number 5 in the world, for crying out loud. That's like, woohoo!
Thank you. He's only going to go up from here after this. I tell you that.
Oh, jeez. If it doesn't go down, that'd be really embarrassing.
No, not at all. Not at all. Thank you again, Seth.
Anytime.
And if you would like to support this podcast, I would appreciate it if you bought me a coffee at chewingthefatbr.com. But until next time, I look forward to the chance we have to sit a spell and chew the fat.